And we're back with some more oxygen not included. And today, what I really want to sort out is the water situation over here. It is just catastrophically messy. Look, this here has been overpressurized for a while, and we haven't found a use for the salt water. And this down here, we're kind of half drawing from it, half not. There's no automated systems in place. So I want to extend this water tank, and I want to start using the salt water. So I think we're going to just take all that salt water and dump it into this biome. It should heat up a bit of it. Worst case scenario, we can melt out some. I mean, we're not doing anything with that water at the moment. Plus, I kind of want to geotune that. You know what? Let's just get started. First off, though, we just want to extend this tank down a little bit. Oh, that feels so much better. Right, this liquid tank is now vastly expanded. At the same time, we've stuck a layer of water on top, and by say we stuck, it kind of just ended up there by accident. It's fine. It's just, it'll stop the polluted water from off-gassing as much. And we've stuck in a bunch of deodorizers, and the whole place is cleaned out, and it's finally clean oxygen in here. The nits are still around, though. We're not getting rid of those anytime soon. And then what we've done up here is we've just sealed this in across the top, put in a little flow tile here. So what happens here, as this erupts, it flows out here, and it stops this just, well, chucking polluted oxygen everywhere. Instead, it's sort of nicely sealed in with a deodorizer to make it safe. And our wild sea comb over here, we did a bit of changes, accidentally overpressurized it a bit and almost destroyed them all, but we now have that just that little bit neater. It's also working on brine and salt water, or clean water and salt water instead of polluted water beforehand. Now, what we need to do next, though, is I think I want to deal with the brine ice and this water up here. This I want to start pumping into. You should be dormant now. Yes, we have 56 cycles before you come active again. This we want to overclock. We want to basically use geotuners to crank up the amount of water it gives out while also increasing its temperature. And then we're going to hook up a bunch of steam turbines to process it all. And we should be able to turn this into a giant battery for power and hot water. This might take a minute, though, because the first thing we have to do is get rid of all the water that's in here. After a little bit of humming and hawing, I think I know what we're going to do here. We're just going to take all of this and dump it into the ice biome. Actually, no. We're going to filter it first, turning it into clean water. And we already had a couple of desalinators here. Their job was to desalinate some of the random brine water and brine ice and stuff we had lying about the place and filter it into this tank, but we don't really need that anymore. Well, at least for now. So we can repurpose this and pump all of that down to the ice biome, and that should hopefully get rid of it. Might take a minute or two. In the meantime, we need to come up with some way of harnessing this and making sure it doesn't overpressurize. I think that's going to require a lot of steam turbines. For example, this thing here, what's its average output? Average output is 2.4. Actually, it's not too bad. Each steam turbine can output 2 kgs, I believe. Yep, memory serves. Yeah, so 3 steam turbines strapped on top should be able to keep up with it on average, assuming we keep pumping it consistently. And if we limit the flow on it, we could probably make it stay perfectly sustainable. So, yeah. 3 steam turbines, 4 tops, just to be 100% certain. I think we're good to go. This is starting to look semi-prepped. Now, for those of you who've never worked with geotuners before, all they do is they basically overclock your vents and geysers so they produce more resources. Problem is they also crank up the temperature coming out, which is normally an issue. Well, I think it's about 20 degrees. We'll find out in a minute, but it's about 20 degrees extra temperature for every geotune you do, and you can do 5 of them to double the output. Well, that means the moment we apply one geotune to this, it's going to be over the boiling point of the salt water, and it's just going to come out as steam. That's why we strap the steam turbines on top. Because we're doubling the output, we have to double the average output to figure out how we're going to be able to handle it. Also, we need to really get all this salt water out of here. Oh, you know what? We got time. How much time have we got? We got 44 cycles before this becomes active. We're good. But we will have to come up with a system of pumping all of that water down to here. Ooh, you're looking good. 30-degree water. This is actually perfect to pump into our base. Huh. Whatever is going on down here, its interactions, it seems the water's staying about 30 degrees, and we could live with that. Over here is probably better. If we put a liquid pump here, get down some power, and then, piping would be tricksy. know what? Easy way to manage that. Little bit of a rejig here. All we want to do is, well, have the capacity to put down 2 pipes. We want a backup pipe for when... Oh, that's so much mess. Might actually be easier to cut through here. Yeah, cut through here. Give ourselves a little bit more space. Right about, say, there. That should hopefully contain most of the water that's about to fall down. Okay, this clears a path from this side of the base to the other without having to go through our central core, which was starting to become problematic. If we check the piping, it's a little bit messy. I mean, there's method to all of that, I think, probably, but it's nice to just have a way to go around the outside so we don't have to go through all of this heavily piped area. Now, just gotta mop up the last of the salt water and we can put it through. Now, before we can finish this out, we're also going to stick in a liquid pump down here. We might as well take advantage of this water while it's here. This stuff here seems to be about 30 C-ish. We'll dip that into our main water tank. I mean, it's a weird way to cool this stuff, and it's not quite normal, but I'm not going to worry about that. We might have to move it around a bit. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Worst case scenario, we have plenty of ice and stuff to throw into our water tank if it starts to get too hot in there. At the moment... It's topping up nicely. You know what? Let's not look at that. That just hurts the brain. Ooh, and yes, Michael there. Michael Little graduated, so we upgraded them to be a default all-rounder. Basically, good carry, good digging, good construction, electrical and mechatronics, so they can build any power or automation we want. Now, there was 2 more here who I believe were on the cusp. Concord. Excellent. You can get your last 2 in, and then let's have a quick look and see what your stats are like. Rigid thinking. They all have a bionic bug, so -3 science, -3 strength. That means they can do just about anything. So long as it's not science, we don't really care. We'll probably put them in as a defaulter. Worst case scenario, we can change them over to something else later. Now, defaulter should be get rid of those 2 and give me 2 of those strength boosters. Also, we should change over your schedule immediately so that you can actually go get them because you're probably on sleepy time naps. Concord can join Carnage and Christian, and that's actually our first double shift of defaulters. Everywhere else, we've only got 1. We've got... I went through the schedules the last time. But once we get them the correct boosters, what we can do is give them the right hat and send them on their way. Well, once they stop sleeping. Damn it! I didn't even notice they were on the bedtime slot. Very shortly, they'll run up here and grab what they want. Perfect. Well, if you're there, then we can get rid of these 2. Give you 1 basic digging, 1 advanced digging. Get rid of those 2. Give you 2 construction, mechatronics, and electrical. Ooh, we're going to need some more construction boosters, aren't we? No problems. We'll just queue up a few construction boosters and have them ready for the next round. Okay, now that Concord's got their construction booster, we can give them their defaulting hat, construction. Done. Now, there was 1 person else who was really close. Panda King. Okay, Panda King's ready as well. Okay then. Well, we're immediately going to have to get them stuck in. Panda King can go on this schedule, which of course is just gone into downtime. And that's Panda King also set up as a defaulter and stuck onto schedules. Now we've got just a little bit more oomph for getting all our work done. Now, down here, have you started actually pumping up water? Oh my god, you already have. Right, so we're pumping out 10 kgs of water, and we're pumping in less than that. So, double down? No, we don't need to run 2 pipes, do we? Suppose we now have this nice area down here where it is quite possible to do that. Oh, second, just gotta mop this place up and make it nice and clean. The reason we're running this piping all the way down there is we want the output from this steam turbine to go all the way down here, all the way across, and then get dumped off into the ice biome. Eventually, we'll melt all of it. We can turn this entire place into like an underground water storage. Well, once we finish we'll extract the water we want, of course. Yeah, we could put in temperature shift plates and things like that, but it seems to be doing its job slowly but surely, and there doesn't seem to be a bit of a rush at the moment. The main thing we're worried about is getting more exuberant seeds, as we want to, we need algae to support our boops, and then we can hire more boops the more algae we have. Power-wise, we're good for now. Though we do need to add on more. You know what? We'll worry about that in a minute. For now, I want to take care of this and turn it into a reliable water source that takes care of itself, where it's fully automated. And to speed things along, we've hooked up a second pump and fed it onto that output line. So now we have... Oh, I'm dumping in raw salt water. Why are you doing that? You gotta run that through a sieve first. Excuse me for 1 minute while I take care of my stupidity. Thankfully, I caught it after only dropping 20 grams, or 20 kilos. All we have to do is find a location close to a main power line and we can sort this out super quick. There, easy peasy fix. We stuck in a couple of desalinators to take care of the salt water. We'll have to remove these later on when we switch this over to steam turbines, but... Oh, and you should maybe go like that as well. We want to process all the backlog that's here. We don't want any of this getting in, so we'll process this first and then we'll hook it all back up to the main line. Which reminds me, you should go up like that, and we'll be just about done. And for power, well, there's actually a tiny little power grid here that was, a few pumps, water sieve, plenty of spare juice on the line. That seems to be almost caught up. Excellent. All right, why don't you have power? Okay, how did we mess this up? Oh, that's a low-end power transformer. Why? Why would I even build one of those? You know what? It's fine. We can't... Nope. There we go. Full-on 4 kilowatt power transformer. We could have used 2 small ones, but I don't like doing that. Just seems wasteful almost. All right, you two are working flat out. Clean water is going through, so we're dumping in 9.3... 10 and 9 at the moment, but that's going to work out at about 18.6 kgs of water, and we're extracting 10 kgs, and it's a little bit higher than 30 C, but this tank does have a cooling loop going through it, so the cooling loop should drag it down if it starts to get a little bit out of control. And there's a decent amount of thermal mass in there. Ooh, I'm going to be careful about this thing overflowing. That'll be fine. We're also emptying this tank at the moment as well, so currently there's 20 kgs of water going in there. Well, it was necessary. We sort of stopped drawing off this tank for a while, namely because most of the polluted water is going up to the top of the map to feed crops. Otherwise, I would overclock the bejesus out of this and also have it coming out and boiling. But, no, one at a time. So you are currently a vacuum, and we still have 37 cycles on you. Right. I think the first thing we have to worry about is the vent overpressurizing. According to the wiki, this thing can go up to about 500 kgs of pressure before it overpressurizes. All we have to do is make sure it can never go higher than that. So we're going to use a little bit of flooding. Ooh, that reminds me, we should probably get rid of the water first. That salt water won't last where this is going. Layer of gunk on the bottom, layer of petroleum on top. It's the second tile, I believe, about here that is the pressure point. As long as that petroleum's there, it should, well, never overpressure, assuming it comes out as gas. What are you? You're too much. That's enough of that. And you can go. And who's scalding? Ah, you went down to pick up, what, a bottle of salt water? You absolute nutter. I mean, go for it, but we should ban all of them from entering, because you're so squeamishly small and... sorry, not squeamishly small, just soft and squishy. You've got problems, okay? 95 health, you'll be grand, walk it off. In theory, this should now never overpressurize is the, well, theory. But next up, we have to get cooling for the steam turbines. We're not going to be recycling any of the steam, so none of it's going back in here. This is meant to be just a storage container, so we can use this to store vast amounts of steam, and at the same time, we can tap it for power. So we've got it for power or water on demand, but we need a cooling for the steam turbines. We'll just chuck in a quick aquatuner here, small bit of a cooling loop. We're going to need to plug this whole thing into the power grid anyway. This is the closest piece of power, so yeah, I'm afraid this is going to have to be it. And how much gold do we have? Yeah, we might want to... Ooh, actually, space. Space is the next thing we need to take care of. Quick power cable in off the main... Well, not the main spine, but this main branch. This is horribly messy, and in about 1,000 cycles we'll redo it all, but for now, this should get it started. Then we need to put a coolant in here. It is... Oh, actually, no, let's not use salt water. We got some polluted water around here, right? In fact, we should have a pipe going by outdoors. Yeah, excellent. We'll just go grab some of that super quick. Easy peasy. Perfect. All right, once that's filled, that's pretty much this area set up except for, well, the geotuners. Done. And excellent. That should drain out the system. Might take a few minutes. Then, with that all sorted, we should probably put in a little bit of some sort of automation about when to turn this on or off or not. And we can't really do it on gas pressure. Gas pressure is going to go above 500 kgs. It's probably going to go closer to... Actually, should be able to go up to infinite pressure in theory. So, how do we turn this on or off or not? Like, let's just leave it off for now. I suppose we'll figure that out later. But it'll probably be a case of when we want water more than anything else. And we're not even going to stick an automation signal on the end of that. Alright. We will let you do your thing and wait... How many cycles? 34 and a half cycles. And in 34 and a half cycles, we'll worry about it then. What do we got? Ooh, 2 bionic dupes. It would appear Bugsy Builder is joining the team. And it's just going to put more strain on our supplies. You see... One of the problems you have, actually, let me sort this out. Let me sort Bugsy out first. First off, we're moving all the boosters to right beside the gate. And we're going to be making some changes here in a wee bit. Then at the same time, the big problem I find is this phyto oil. Currently we're using that as lubricants for all the boops. But to make phyto oil, you need seacomb leaf. And you need to combine it with 75 kgs of water. So every single oil change is costing us 75 kgs of water. And this seacomb leaf, which we're just about keeping up with. But either we start expanding the seacomb leaf farms massively, or we pop over to the other planets and start pumping in crude oil. Crude oil effectively works the exact same way. You can use either, but crude oil is just far, far, far more efficient. And it doesn't require nearly as much dupe labor of stomping on top of this freaking thing. We'll probably have to get around to that at some point. We're not going to go up to 100 dupes. Well, I mean, we theoretically could go up to 100 dupes on the seacomb. It's just, it would take so much water, it would feel wrong. With that project out of the way with... Actually, let's have a quick check on the... Where are the dupes? Oh, there you are. Oh, athletics and machinery are new is 2020. Once all of these are 20 athletics, we're going to start plugging them into the dream machine. The reason I don't plug them into the dream machine before they've got 20 athletics is wearing these pajamas slows them down something shocking, and it just makes them much harder to deal with. So you can immediately... Well, you can get off the wheel. You are no longer required in there. Oh! Flawed Logic has caught up as well. They're on plus 20, plus 20. Alright. Get out of here. We don't need you no more. That means all we've got left is Ben Lynch. Ben, where are you? Ben is at 17 athletics. Oh, just 3 more points. 3 more points, buddy. Just keep running. And while you're doing that, we're going to see about automating some space cargo. Ah, yes. You came back with the ISO-SAP. Oh, we should clear that. Set to one-way trip. Yeah. You dump that out, and then we're immediately going to have to move it somewhere else. Mainly because I don't want that stuff melting. That's ISO-SAP we picked up from one of our mining expeditions. You can go actually over here with the rest of the ISO-SAP. Now, if someone can get around to moving that very quickly, that would be much appreciated. It is sitting on top of a boiling hot insulated tile. Should be fine, but no point risking things. It took a minute, but I think we're ready to start making Insulite. Now, the reason we need Insulite is it's got to carry liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen, which we're going to be using a lot of. So, for every tile, we're going to need 4 pieces of Insulite, which costs the ISO-SAP we got brought down from space, some Abyssite, and some feather fibers. This is why we started making feather fibers so long ago. But those 4 pieces will make 1 insulated pipe. That's not a lot, so let's just start at 99 and see where it goes from there. Alright, now while you're doing that, it's time this rocket did some mining. Recently, we've been heading to this location, which has sulfur, petroleum, and ISO-SAP. This was just to get the ISO-SAP. This place we could get gold, but it's really the iridium we're after right now, so this here is our best bet for lots and lots of iridium very quickly. So, in that case, we need to swap this out for a liquid container. And once that's done, just set it to all standard items. Then we need to select a destination. Done. Is this set to round trip? Set rocket to travel to its destination and back. Round trip. Perfect. Summon crew, begin launch sequence, and let's have a quick look at the interior to make sure we haven't missed anything. It's all still set up the way we left it. Oh, and people were saying I should get rid of the toilet and put in a gunk drainer. We probably could redesign the rocket, but I'm too lazy. And it works out the way it works out. I mean, we only really need the pilot for now. Later on, we should be replacing the pilot entirely with an automated system. Alright, get in there. Come on, you little scamp. And poof, off you go. Generates us a little bit of heat. A few radioactive germs. Yeah. But plans. Then what we want to do is make sure by the time it comes back, we have a way of dealing with its outputs. Its outputs are going to be magma, molten iridium, liquid oxygen, and liquid hydrogen. I'm thinking storage containers for a bunch of this stuff is going to be required. I mean, that seems like a good enough start. But how many... Oh, wow. We've got 7.2 tons of liquid hydrogen, and we have a whole bunch of magma we're never going to need. Namely because, well, the temperature in here never dips low enough anymore. Where did we leave the oxygen? Oh, 7.2 tons of oxygen. 7.2 tons of hydrogen. Probably going to need more reservoirs after a while. What the... What are you doing up there? I need to stop the dupes coming up here. That's just torture for them. There you go. Just get back inside and don't come out here and deal with the vacuum of space. I got to imagine the injuries from that have been pretty horrific. Now, you... We need to deconstruct you for now. And what we need to worry about is these things. Where are they? Liquid rocket port unloader. Yeah, we're gonna need a bunch of these. So they're all gonna be tucked up nice and tight against this rocket platform. We're gonna need one liquid rocket port unloader for every single liquid cargo in there. Which means there's a lot of wasted space up here. Also, can we do that? We'll have to wait till the rocket lands before we know where to put all the where to put the ladder properly. I'm supposed to could figure it out, but I think we'll just wait until they land. How much time have you got left in your harvesting? Oh, you're like about a third of the way through. Oh yeah, keep up the good work. So, insulated piping going from here to over there is going to be problematic because it costs so much. We're at 2100, 17, and we're out. We've ran out of Insulite already. Wait, nope, we got a little bit left. 1 second. So that's 4, 8, 12, 16. Right, now we just need a second one for, well, the hydrogen or the oxygen. They're the two we really need the Insulite for to automate this. This is why we haven't bothered automating this before this point. I suppose we could have just dumped the liquid oxygen and hydrogen out into space, but that seemed, well, wasteful. So we'll say you can be liquid hydrogen. You can be liquid oxygen. You can be magma, and finally, molten iridium. Perfect. Now, the molten iridium, I don't think we need Insulite for that. I think ceramic should be sufficient, and we have more than a good chunk of that lying around the place. Same time, the magma, yeah, I'm not thinking that needs anything too special either. So, you're going to get ceramic. Like that. We still need some way to dispose of them long term, though. Worry about it later. Worst case scenario, we'll just start dumping them back into space. Actually, that might be an idea. We can just put overflows here, and... Oh, damn it, I need to move this up a tile. But yes, we'll put in some overflows, and that way it won't be an issue. We almost have this all set up. We're just shy on a couple of pipe segments. And... Oh, the rocket's just running out of diamond drill tip. So it should be landing shortly. And if you hover over this, you can see what it's holding. And that's 7 tons of iridium in there. Yeah, 10 tons of magma. Oh my god, there's 10 tons of magma. Yeah, we don't have enough storage for magma set up. We're going to have to do something about that. 5 tons is fine. The rest we can dump into the background of space. Alright, they're missing one last piece, but that's okay. And we'll put a tile up there and a tile up there. And are they unloading? So we have liquid hydrogen going through here. That should be perfect. We have magma going through the ceramic. And soon this will be finished, and hopefully we'll start getting the liquid oxygen as well. At the moment there's an overflow, it'll just get dumped into these liquid vents and dissipate into the background of space. There will never be any iridium overflow. Iridium's just that stuff's just going to happen. Which reminds me. We want to install a little auto sweeper here. We've set this up to be a storage bin for the iridium. Namely because the iridium just gives off the heat better when it's inside a metal storage bin. Helps it dissipate it out a little bit quicker. Ooh, there we go. I think they're all hooked up, are they? Yeah, oh, we should allow our dupe out and get the rocket ready for its next launch. Nope. And they can get in and out now. Excellent. That means they can restock the module. So it kind of ate through a little bit of the algae, but that can get topped back up again. That's basically what keeps this whole capsule oxygenated. And they drop in some gear BAM as well. This means they should be perfectly capable of spending long periods of time in space, and every time they land, they get topped back up in plastic, and they can start churning us out more databanks, of which we have a lot so far. Eventually, we'll automate this process with the... Where is this thing? Robopilot module. Just not yet. Oh, we might want to set up some way of refueling the ship as well. The last of the magma is about to exit. Perfect. Then if we check this, it should immediately launch again. Or maybe I haven't set it to round trip yet. Have I? I suppose we'll give it one more round trip and see what happens. Maybe moving the rocket pad might have messed it up a little bit. But yes, that automatically empties it, and we came away with 10 tons of iridium for our efforts. About damn time. Alright, and how are we looking on the bog bucket front? We're going to have to go nuts with those in a while. We get 5 exuberance. Oof. Love another 10. We might have to start splicing. There is a way to splice them and make 2 out of 1, but it's time consuming and a little bit annoying at the moment. They patched it a while ago. Used to be an awful lot easier. Actually, we are running short on new boops. Scott Stevens here has the bionic bug for excavation and machinery, so I can confidently say they will never become a bill digger engineer type. They don't get it. Now, we have placed all this stuff nearby to them, and it's immediately time to skill them up. That gives us 2 more newbies and 4 that are currently being processed. How are the other 4 doing? Kara 9TE has been upgraded. Well, moved to the default status of, dig, build, all the usual. We just want as many construction people going on as possible. Judith is also about to be upgraded. Oh, let's see what you've got going on. And there Jareth goes, sucking down all those data disks. I do like that we could just refurbish them later for other jobs, but for now, let's just make sure you've got your correct hat on. And you can join the rest of the team. We're going to need to start taking on more boops. We've actually gone through... Oh, damn, we have promoted 3 of them? 4 of them? Oh, actually, Jeremy, you can go back on the schedule. I'm trying to keep it to no more than 6 training duplicates at any one time. Otherwise, they just become too much of a drain. The water down here is getting a little out of control. It's also filled up our water tank in the base. This, I like it. It's basically filtering all of the salt water and combining it in here. I think, though, I'd like to expand out the melting area. So the surface area could be increased by a little bit. So if we crack open this tile here, it should start flooding this section and give us more surface area to work with. We also could, do over there as well. Might as well go ham on this. Okay, getting closer. Come on. Perfect. And double perfect. Then we'll just dig our way down here, and we can get rid of all of this slime. Nope, you can all go. We want as much surface area as possible to exchange temperature with the ice. We'll regret that later when everything starts to freeze again, but for now, this would seem like a beneficial arrangement for us. I think that's enough digging things out. That should be fine. There's a few blobs of oxygen in there that'll slow things down, but we don't really mind. We'll also get rid of most of the temp shift plates, though there seems to be an infinite liquid waterfall over here. It's causing massive pressurization, so temp shift plate to help even at the temperature around it should make things fun or stable, hopefully. How are we looking in here? How much uranium you got for us? 459 kgs, just in one of them. And I think we'll be good on uranium for a while. Okay, and where is... Ah, yes. Ben. How you looking, buddy? 18 athletics? Come on, give me 2 more. You know what? Let's start getting prepped for the Dream Machine. I'd like to get that started, so... Need some way of keeping these dupes from getting too damaged from pressure. What I want to do is put like 10 kgs of oxygen pressure all over the map. Now, I know we could get gas... We could get gas pumps, pump it into gas storage, and then the boops could basically take the bottles of gas and drink them directly. However, that requires a whole bunch of power. For every 5 boops, you're going to need 1 gas pump. So right now, we need about 15, or 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Say we need about 5 gas pumps running continuously almost to keep all of these boops satisfied with oxygen. That's just a lot of time and effort when we can really just overpressurize the area around us and they can suck it out of the atmosphere pretty handily. However, if we make it 10 kgs of gas pressure, all the organic boops are going to have their eardrums popped, and that's going to stress them out. Oh, I suppose we give them carpet underneath their beds? You know what? Let's try that. We're going to give them carpet tiles underneath their beds to give them a stress reduction. It's 15%, is it? You know what? I can't remember, but we'll find out in a minute. It's a 15% reduction. Huh. If they spend most of their time sleeping on top of carpet tiles, that's minus 35. Give them high morale, that's minus 55. So even if they get popped eardrums, they should be grand. Also, we need to get them more food. I think I want to automate tender brisket. It takes 600 seconds to make a tender brisket. Each tender brisket produces 1600 calories. However, we only have 7 dupes, and each one consumes 1000 calories a cycle. So we only need this on half the time. But no automation port. I think we can work around that. Oh my god, it doesn't even have a power port. Oh wait, how do you turn it on and... Oh, damn, this is going to be awkward. Okay, so hear me out here. This is going to seem a little odd, but it should work. Now, all we need is 6 or 7,000 calories per cycle. We're producing 16,000 with this tender brisket per cycle if we leave it on all the time. But we're not going to leave it on all the time. Instead, what we're going to do is just stick it on top of a door, a mechanized airlock, and let's at every 600 seconds, which is one cycle, the door will close for one cycle and then open for one cycle. So this should only be on half the time, which means we'll be averaging, instead of 1,600 calories, it'll be 8. So we should be doing 8,000 calories a cycle. There'll be a little bit of downtime here and there, but that should, in theory, make sure there's just enough tender brisket all the time, without getting us too much. And where are you going? And what the hell are you even planting? Wow. That's... Damn. Okay, I really didn't think you could plant anything there. You know what? Here you go. All right, then. What are you, specialized? No. You need to be uprooted. You need to keep all of those seeds in one spot. And, oh, they're getting into the special seeds. Oh, auto that door. That's what I get for opening the doors. Leave the doors closed, otherwise the critters go nuts. Anyway. Over here, how are you looking? I'm going to do a little bit of finagling here. And door engaged. Perfect. All right, 600 seconds. Well, probably less. It had already started cooking. These things are a bit odd in that you basically stick in peat and you stick in tough meat, and out comes the food a while later. That's it. No duplicants stand there and cook it, and it's got a time on it. So it's 600 seconds for all of them. So if you want to support a lot of duplicants who require food, as opposed to the bionics we're running, you're going to need a lot of those. Actually, how are we looking on batteries at the moment? Oh, we dipped below 100. Let's churn out a few more of those. Give me another 20 eco batteries. And we've already started finding out where the weaknesses are on our grid. There was a non-heavy watt joint plate there. There's just a regular joint plate there. It started overloading. So we're definitely peaking above 20 kilowatts at times. That's fine. That's fine. You guys over here. Ooh, where are you? Are you finally at 20 freaking athletics yet? 19? Oof, you know what? We're going to do it soon enough anyway. While we organize the automatic extraction of the dream journals, we're going to have to go automate the rocket. The problem I had was I never actually hooked up the automation. Sends a green signal when rocket is ready for flight. Pilot boarded, all crew boarded. Yeah, how do we make the crew come on board? It's been a while since I've done this. And off you go. Immediately melted steel. Damn. Tungsten? Tungsten. We'll replace that with tungsten. It'll be grand. Now, where were we? Oh yes, Dream Journalville. I think we might have to move a few beds around. How many pajamas? We got 4. To gain in pajamas, you have to basically get it dispensed out of this, and then it takes some time for a reason. Who knows why? Activate. Request a duplicant to activate this building. Yes, please. Perfect. Now what do you want? Pretty sure we gotta get some dream journals for this. Those we get by putting our dupes in pajamas. And letting them sleep, but that will be a little bit away. For now, we need enough pajamas and then set up the automation before we get deep into this. I think we got most of the prep work done, most of the automation in, most of the carrying of stuff about the place. Just need to provide some spotless minds to do the sleeping. The only one missing from getting a good brain scrubbing right now is Ben. Ben's still a little shy of the 20 athletics. I mean, they're not actually necessary, but for completeness sake, all the rest have 20. Why not? Right, once they're finished getting shaken and stirred, perfect, we shall get them to put on their pajamas. After their spin through the brain scrambler, they basically have all of their skills wiped, which resets their morale. That means their morale should now be incredibly high. Yeah, 24 out of 0. We're trying to maximize that to increase the chances of them getting an overjoyed response. And they're all balloon artists, so they'll start handing out balloons randomly to people. And I think, you know what? I think it's time that... Hey, where'd you go? We're just gonna scrub Ben already and get it over with. Time to start chucking them all in. Oh, and we don't need you guys anymore. These things take 480 watts when you're running them, which is why you usually put them on the main line. It's just the only way. Especially when you're doing 6 people simultaneously. Alright, once you're scrubbed, I think it's time for you all to get on schedule. Okay, 2 problems. 1, Sergeant Masaka is not wearing their pajamas. And 2, Sergeant Masaka is getting woken up by the light emitted by... Ben. Ben is radioactive. Yes, I'd forgotten about the light they give off, which is going to cause interrupted sleep, which is going to cause them stress. Annoying. So, how do we work around that? We need to move them away far enough. One more tile? Would one more tile be enough? But then we'd have to move every single bed. Or we give them their own separate bedroom. Yep, separate bedroom it is. I think we've got our first dream journals here. So, the way this works is... we grab the dream journals, we put them into this level 1 storage bin. 1 second, copy the settings up to there. Should be none of the regular dupes or boops are allowed in there. Then, once they're in there, we have them transferred over to this section. And we make this a level 2. All of those get slotted in, and... Oh, conveyor rail. No, conveyor rail's in place, so they should start moving, right? Power. My bad. And done. We just gotta make sure none of the other boops come in here. We'll change the door settings once it's swept, and is that a private bedroom or just a regular bedroom now? That is a luxury barracks. Wooden decor building. Then what we'll do is we'll just stick in a quick plant. Buddy butt? Jumping joy is fine. And luxury barracks still. What are we missing? One decor building. Only has one decor building. Should be 2, shouldn't it? We've got one of the plants in. Now we'll put another one. Anyway, those dream journals are now being whisked away. All the way down here in an automated process. And should end up down here. Dream journal delivered. Is that on? I think it's firing up, is it? Ooh, maybe we need to put in some oxygen. That might be the ticket. Not enough oxygen pressure just yet. How about we make this 9 kgs for both of you? It's just so it's just so power cheap to make those work. Yeah, I mean, you're trying. I get it, but we're going to produce so much oxygen in this area, you haven't got a hope. Like, that's 1, 2, 3... That's 4 kilos a second. Yeah, you guys will fill up real quick. Okay, still leaves us with a bit of a deficit over here, but I'm not too worried about just grabbing a gas pump. Plopping it down. Is there anything around here or any gases? No. And so long as we keep the gas pressure pretty high, I don't think we'd have to worry about anything getting in. We might stick in a simple filtration system later on. Checking the wiki, turns out we're gonna need 25 of these dream journals to start. And they just gotta wear the pajamas to do it. And come on, plop us out one there. Done. And transport it away. All of them are pretty happy, and stress-wise... Yeah, stress is at 0, even with... Actually, no popped eardrums here. The pressure not reached here yet? Damn. Cannot catch up, eh? Might want to start installing more of these oxygen diffusers. I think we can stick in another batch, like, ooh, right here. Oh, I just clicked on it, and it just... I think we've got enough of the Dream Journal. Yeah, that's it. Dream Journals, enough of them in there. Meeting the initial quota of Dream Journal content analysis has triggered a surge of electromagnetic activity that appears to be enhancing performance for duplicants everywhere. If my duplicants can keep this building fueled with Dream Journal, perhaps we will continue to reap this benefit. A small side compartment has also popped open, revealing an unfamiliar object. A keepsake, perhaps. Ah, little model airplane. So, let's see here. Carnage. How you doing? You got maximum aptitude. Reduction in stress, increased athletics, strength, science, piloting, and machinery for every one of us. Each and all of you get it. Athletics of 29. Oof. Just. So basically, the athletics is the biggest bonus. Strength is also awesome. So, well, it's good for carry capacity, but machinery is great for, well, every single one of our defaulters. So basically, Carnage here now has their machinery at 15 and their athletics at 29. Oof, strength has gone up as well. Like, there is zero downsides to this, and the extra speed is just so beautiful. You, give us a joyous seed. Oh, no, you can't. We've banned all of these fellas from going in. And still a luxury barracks. Why? What are we missing? 2 decor, no industrial machinery, has back wall tiles. You know what? It's not even worth it. The morale is already 38. How's your guys going? Morale's 37. Yeah, so they've all got maximum morale. Which means a whole bunch of them end up getting their overjoyed response, which is Balloon Artist. Which means a bunch of our dupes should now be one... Oh, there goes one of them. They should be wandering around in balloons. Now, this is not as good as when you have regular dupes. Because regular dupes, you can make sure they always show up at a certain location once a cycle. Either for their downtime for lunch, you know, or just hanging out in the decor, or the, not the decor room, the recreation room. But we can't really do that with the boops because they only have, like, they only show up reliably in a place once every 3 cycles. So it's a little bit annoying. And, ooh, how's that going? Dream Journal is, nope, they're all stuck in there. Supposedly, though, if you disable this building, everyone still keeps the aptitude bonus, and it does not require any more of the Dream Journals. So the Dream Journals didn't actually decay anymore. Meaning this thing effectively just lasts forever with 0 cost. Yep, this has just been stable for a while now. Everyone's still got their maximum aptitude bonus. Yep, they've all still got it. So you can do that quite earlier on, but can't do it. It feels wrong. I know what the mechanic is, so I'm just going to use it the correct way. Getting it the cheated way is... exploitative way is fun, but just not... Ooh, what happened to your power there? Ooh, we severed a power cable. Done. Problem solved. Does that mean you guys are overcrowded? Yeah. Oops. My bad. Yep, that's what we were doing. Then I got distracted by the Somnium Synthesizer thing. 1 second. Deconstruct that for a minute. I'd like to try something here. Yeah, that works. See, the thing is, we don't have... Like, the gas pressure has to go all the way around the outside. However, if we replace this with airflow tiles, that allows the airflow to go through the center as well. That should drastically speed things up. It just makes it easier. They're generally gasping the oxygen down here. Having just a shorter path makes it that little bit easier. And then we can just repeat the process over here. Yeah, you can see the oxygen just pushing in and pressurizing the area. That should simplify things just a little bit. Okay, I think we're good. Calories, let's see. Tender brisket, 4,823 calories. Actually a bit low. I'm going to change the downtime on this to, say, 500 seconds. A little bit more uptime, a little less downtime. Why is that saying empty? What's wrong? Oh, it's an errand. Someone has to come along and fill it. What the hell? I didn't realize this thing had maintenance. Oh, you have to beat on it? Okay, that would explain why our calories have not been keeping pace. And done. You have to actually beat it in the machine. Okay, so let's make that 450 seconds out of every 600, and we'll see what that does to our calories after a dozen cycles or so. Now, over here, we've actually managed to clean out all the salt water. We just got to drain the actual liquid tanks. What the... Okay, that is a bit of a rooting loop we should have avoided. Better. Another rooting loop we should have avoided. Okay, that makes more sense. And of course, yeah, they're all getting filtered out to all of these systems. What the hell's going on over here? Oh yeah, Grant. So that's all coming down. Ooh. This is making some decent inroads. Temperature looks relatively good on one side, not so good on the other, but I say we just keep dumping the hot water in here. It should push its way through eventually. And when this thing starts erupting in 7.4 cycles, we'll have a whole bunch of steam we can draw upon. We won't probably grab it straight away, but it will be, once it starts to fill this area up, we'll probably find a use for it. All right, what's left? Oh, yeah, this rocket up here. I have probably messed up the refueling on that. Automation-wise, yeah, we should probably change this. You sends a green signal when Radbolt storage is full. So we could set this up so we never have... It'll automatically refill it and then go back to charging the diamond press if we play our cards right. Okay, I think we've set this up correctly. When this rocket lands and it doesn't have a full engine, it will send a red signal. That red signal will get flipped by this NOT gate, and that will tell this thing to turn on. Ooh, I have to be pointing that way. That way, towards the engine. So it'll get itself recharged. Now, it's actually full at the moment, so what should happen is this will fire, and it will pass through that being ignored, and then, poof, get fired over. So, excellent. That has automated the refueling of the rocket. Thanks to the comments for that suggestion. I had not realized you could turn off these Radbolt reflectors with automation. That simplifies things. Now this whole thing can just launch and land and keep bringing us back resources. How are we looking on the diamond front? 19.8 tons. Okay, so we're actually staying ahead of the diamond requirements of this, meaning we can open up a second rocket. That one, I'm thinking gold. Yeah, gold and more iridium might be a good call. This one we don't need nearly as much of. Petroleum and all that is nice. Sorry, petroleum is decent. Isosap is, well, we've got enough of that already, so who cares? Like, if we go down and check these guys out, how are we looking on Insulite? Yeah, I think we're good. We're good for now. I mean, we'll probably send up a rocket later on, but at this very moment, I think we're golden. Now, once this empties, it should automatically relaunch again. If all of our automation is correct, this thing should send out a launch signal the moment it's actually unloaded everything. Come on. Where's the pilot? The arrow. There they are. They're a little bit slow, but it can process a lot of databanks. Which reminds me, how many databanks do we have right now? 1,204. Yeah. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right, that has brought us up to 30 tons of iridium. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, wait. When this guy's gone... Oh, damn it, that's a problem. I need to redo the automation. Otherwise, when he's gone, we're going to be firing Radbolts into nothingness. There we go. So, when the rocket lands, this will send out a green signal. So, when the rocket lands, this will send out a green signal. Also, the engine won't be fully charged, so it'll be sending out a red signal. Flipped by a NOT gate. So we'll have two green signals going in there when the rocket lands and the engine is not full. At which point, it will send a green signal over here. That will allow incoming bolts and it will recharge the engine. But then the moment the engine is recharged, this will flip to a green signal, get flipped by the NOT gate, which turns it red. And since you've got one red and one green, it'll just come out red and it'll turn this off so that it can keep filling up the diamond press. That's it. Sorted. Okay. We'll have to actually test it, but that's going to have to wait till the next day. I am over time. Should have had this out ages ago. And, ooh, what do we got in here? Don't want the oxygen. Give me the... Sweetles, I suppose? Actually, no, we've already got enough Sweetles. You shall intercept the charge. Not even sure what we'll buy with it. And next up, though, I think it's time to start on the exuberant bog bucket farm. Yeah, we're going to have to use radiation and we're going to have to use radioactive waste to make a farm. And then we're going to have to grow the bog bucket so we can expand out these ranches down here. These are a little bit of a bottleneck right now. Normally, you just rip out ranches and move them around. The problem is these overgrow. You can't move these ranches because it's such a huge investment of time and resources to make them function that us moving them up here... also, we're switching over to a newer format, all this stuff. Oh, and new form factor for this ranch. Basically, the suggestion was, why didn't I put the gap at the top? For example, do something like this. So have the gap at the top, and then have the food drop in there. That way the duplicants can't grab it, and you don't need these atmosuit checkpoints. Problem is, that requires you to put the weight plate here. If the weight plate is here, it is basically dumping chill into the surrounding environment, and you can't keep the weight plate cold enough all the time. It's okay if you're willing to have it go into rot pile. Rot pile does not off gas, as I've been advised, so you can have that whisked away by the conveyor loader. But if you want to keep it chilled, you'd either have to insulate it like this, which means you've now put in 2, 4, 5, 6 tiles. You've taken away 6 tiles from the room. This one only takes away 4 tiles. Another option would be, say, that. But you're still looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles, 5 tiles, as opposed to the 4 this gives you. So this one just allows you to squeeze the room a bit smaller. If you have the space to spare, yep, doing it on top would allow you to not have to worry about putting in these atmosuit docks. But I found reversing it like this allows you to put the checkpoints 1 point closer. I tried putting the checkpoints up here to stop the duplicants getting in. That didn't work. It seems they can go up diagonally a bit like doors. They could stand there and grab the bog jellies. And finally, everyone was telling me well, not everyone, but there's a few people saying we should put them that way. Problem is, since our duplicants are already wearing atmosuits, if we do that, they actually come up to this and just run right past. They're already wearing atmosuits, so they're allowed through. They don't actually need to pick one up. And then when they're coming back, they drop their atmosuit, which is most frustrating. Well, they would if there was an atmo dock. Otherwise, they're blocked from returning. So either they're blocked on the other side or drop their atmosuit. Yeah, I did that in testing. I configured it the exact same way. I thought this would have been the way to do it. But no, you need to face them the opposite direction and make sure clearance is vacancy only. All right. One last thing. Yeah, I was advised to put in, just extend on this cooling loop here to cool down these weight plates. However, I don't like to leave a cooling loop running all the time because it'll just drag chill into this area, and these are warm-blooded creatures. So instead, what we did was, another suggestion, just run a gas loop. But this gas loop, let's just turn it on now. When we turn on this gas loop, it's automated so that the gas will circulate around, and it goes down here, chills everything. You can pre-chill everything the way you want it, and then it comes right back up again, and it keeps circulating around. So we've got 100 grams of gas in here, so it's 50 grams coming back, and then it doubles up to 100, then 150, then 200, then 250, and it keeps increasing by 50 grams. This thing can only pump out 50 grams a second. That's why it slowly increases. And it just makes it nice and small. We could have put in a giant gas, but nah, not worth it. We don't need a gas pump that size. But this allows us to drag down the temperature when we want it, and then when we've dragged down the temperature of whatever new install we've done, we just turn this off. That opens up the high-pressure gas vent, and all the gases drain out of the system. Done. Okay, I'm gonna put the save game file and attach it to this one if you want to have a play around with it and check out some of the builds. Nothing is quite perfect, and I feel like I haven't planned this out well enough yet. Like, we haven't even got ladders in here. It's just I never really got around to it, and then things went in, and now I kind of want to rip out this whole core area and move it somewhere else, but we can't because all of these ranches are right here. So it feels like I'm in that constant limbo while we wait for a bunch of things to all come to fruition. Namely these exuberants. I think that's going to be the main goal next episode, is to take all those exuberants, make a massive farm, and then we can expand these ranches down, rip out all of these. We'll have to move some bedrooms, but that's fine. They're pretty small and easy to move about. But yeah, just basically plow in a whole bunch of those. Our algae is well ahead of schedule, and we can also probably hire up to 6 duplicants for training. Those boops can wait to come online because the extra labor we've got now makes building projects so much faster. What, are you ready yet? 5.2 cycles. Nope, I'm not waiting. I'm going to cut this out here. Anyway, this was us sorting out our water supplies, fixing our rockets so that they're actually automated for a change, and improving our oxygen production dramatically. Dear God. Oh, we also stick another one of those down there just to improve the oxygen flow in this area. Tends to push out all the other gases to keep the area nice and clean. Don't want to be damaging the Somnium Synthesizer. Oh, yes, and we also activated the Somnium Synthesizer so all our duplicants are moving just that much faster. Anyway, I'm going to cut this out here. I hope you enjoyed it. Good luck.